We're going to talk a little bit about the equipment for this perch fishing. One of the perch presentations is using a small spoon. I'm using 2-pound test fluorocarbon, trilene 100% fluorocarbon line here also, and then an ultralight rod from Dave Gentz. It's a typical panfish setup. Maybe even a little bit on the light side for these big perch. The one thing that we want to show you is how to hook up the baits. The one thing that you want to do here is load up all 3 trebles. So I'm going to grab one of the little wigglers right here. I've been using a smaller one at first, and then on one of the trebles right between the legs I hook the wiggler. Kind of hangs down like so. And then on the other one, I will try to find one of the bigger, more active wigglers. Let's see if I can pick one that's pretty active. Here we go. And I hook that one right in the tail. I kind of go on the underbelly of the tail and I hook it up. Pretty straightforward. So it's just hanging. Now that one will actually swim as it's sitting still. And then on the 3rd treble, John was actually the one who kind of turned us on to this. And you really load it up because these perch are pretty good sized, and you know, a lot of perch lakes you won't use this much stuff, but I'll grab a waxy, and then on the 3rd treble I just put a waxy. So when it's all said and done, you've got a lot of stuff hanging off that little spoon. Now the one thing that you want to do for these Gogebic perch is you don't want to move a spoon too much. You know, I'm using real gentle movements. If the fish comes in, I might raise it, but I actually very, very gently will hold it. And normally then that spring bobber go bonk and you've got them. So it's a pretty cool way to fish, and it works very effectively. The other setup that we use is the dead stick setup. And I've got actually 2 identical jigs. They're just small panfish jigs, maybe a little bit on the larger side. What we do on the top jig is we just put a cinch knot and cinch it right into the line. For you bass fishermen, a little bit like drop shotting in a way. And then on the bottom, we just basically hang the 2nd jig, and we load them both up. I actually use 2 wigglers per each jig. I'll hook one underneath the front by the legs, just like I showed you before, and then I hook the other one to swim. And this rod sits and is almost motionless. If a fish comes in, I might tap the rod a little bit. It's usually sitting in the rod holder, and you totally watch the spring bobber. If the spring bobber moves at all, then you're going to end up setting the hook.